Welcome everyone. On behalf of our Law Society 2022 Council members and CEO Rolf Moses, thank you for tuning in for a different kind of New Year profession celebration this year. I acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara nations on whose lands we gather this evening. I pay my respects to all elders past, present and emerging, and thank them for their wisdom and guidance. I thank our Chief Justice, the Honourable Catherine Holmes AC, for keeping the tradition of the New Year profession celebration alive, albeit in a different form for 2022. This will, as you know, be the last New Year profession welcome address by our Chief Justice, and we are very grateful for her support over many years. Chief Justice, distinguished guests, and members of the legal profession, I started 2022 full of optimism. I remain optimistic that this year will bring lots of opportunities for our profession and will see us reconnect and re-engage with each other, even though we are still doing so from a distance in the early part of the year. I am honoured to be the 2022 Law Society President. I am even more honoured to be part of such a diverse group of counsellors elected by the profession to represent their interests. The 2022 Council is broadly reflective of our current state of the profession in terms of background and experience, with the Council now having a vast majority of female solicitors and sees us embrace our early career lawyers as part of our Council makeup. An important step as we move forward with the profession into new ways of working and challenging the perception of what is our norm within the legal profession. As it stands, over 50% of the profession is female. We have hundreds of culturally diverse lawyers, and over 25% of the profession are early career lawyers. Now, COVID in these types of speeches is almost becoming a dirty word, similar to the trend of let's unpack that, or the overuse of the word space. But I do have to mention it briefly. And the reason I do is simply to highlight how proud I am of the solicitors of Queensland. Yes, there is no doubt solicitors have done it tough since the start of the pandemic, and yes, there is no doubt that there is still a way to go. But for the most part, the solicitors of Queensland have shown consistently that they are agile, adaptive, remain collegiate in even the most trying of circumstances, and are continuously willing to stand up and lend a hand when needed, whether it be assisting the courts to adapt to changes, meeting the needs of clients who have limited means or access to legal advice due to circumstances, or helping out their colleagues. The solicitors of Queensland need to know that the law does not require you to work in isolation, even when you may be physically isolated. There are vast networks of solicitors throughout Queensland trying to meaningfully connect with each other and share their combined knowledge and experience. As an example, this financial year to date, the Society, through its network of volunteer committee members and policy solicitors, has conducted on behalf of the members of the Law Society 155 submissions, hosted 150 requests for comments, held 65 committee meetings and 89 consultation meetings with stakeholders. Over 500 Queensland lawyers have volunteered their time and experience to provide feedback and inform policy, which is just an extraordinary commitment on the part of the profession. Solicitors are consistently showing up and proving that we are a force. The pandemic has not stalled our efforts. It has only reinforced the need to ensure our solicitors' voices remain heard and remain a trusted source of advice for all stakeholders. You are all our essential partner and play your part alongside government, the courts and justice sector agencies to ensure legislative and justice system change meets the needs of Queenslanders. It is crucial that we continue on this path. Put your hand up, have your say, get behind the profession, get behind the judiciary and protect their independence. Let's continue to keep our core professional values of collegiality and service as we move through 2022. There are lots of opportunities to get involved if you haven't already, and now is the time to strike. I encourage you all to join a committee or working group, provide feedback on legal policy issues, or stand for council election in late 2023. It's important that we take opportunities where we can to shape the society and influence our profession, keeping it to account and protecting the reputation of solicitors. Now, with that being said, people ask me, what do I want to achieve in my year as president? I have many goals, but I want to share 2 of them with you today. Conversations around sexual harassment and profession expectations in that regard need to be prioritised this year. Yes, we have rolled out a number of resources that shine a light on the issue, and yes, we have opened our doors and implemented policies and given guidance and instruction. But this year, we need to act decisively and lead the profession. It's reported almost 3 million people aged over 18 years experienced sexual harassment last year, and that is just what we know of. And we know that professions where there are power imbalances and financial or other incentives are hotspots for lending themselves to the possibility of sexual harassment occurring in the workplace. I'm encouraging action, encouraging conversation, and I want to be on the ground with everyone as we demand a coordinated approach to the issue. I will be hosting roundtables to discuss how sexual harassment impacts practitioners and what the profession expects or demands from its leaders. I also want to have conversations with you about inclusion and how we can do it better and be better. I recognise there is more to do, and I'm excited to be with you all and driving this conversation. Secondly, I want to highlight the importance of our district law associations. For those who have worked outside the CBD area, you will know that the opportunity to network across colleagues and integrate yourself into the community is vital to successful practice. Regional practitioners often face different pressures from those in the CBD, and district law associations understand that. They are there to support members and encourage networking opportunities to enable practitioners to reach out to others. They are also a conduit for information passing between the Society and the DLA members. This year, I would like to challenge each of you to consider what more we can do to integrate and support our DLAs across Queensland and demonstrate our value to the regional practitioner community. In these times, we have to take up more opportunities to stay connected, keep up to date, and join conversations when we can. There will be ample opportunity for regional and central practitioners to connect throughout the year, with the most exciting one being the 2022 Symposium. Regional practitioners have a wealth of experience and expertise that I know they are keen to share with us city folk. Symposium is a fantastic opportunity to learn, grow, and network with an accessibility to all attendees in the palm of your hand. Registrations are open, and I'd really love to see you there. It will also, sadly, be the Honourable Chief Justice Catherine Holmes AC's last QLS event as our Chief Justice. So it will be also a tremendous opportunity for us to celebrate her tenure and successes and recognise the support she has shown the solicitors of Queensland over many years as we say farewell. On that note, it is apt for me to warmly welcome Her Honour, the Honourable Chief Justice Holmes AC, to join with me in welcoming you all to the new year and sharing her thoughts and reflections on what has been or will be in 2022.
Ordinarily, I would be delivering my New Year's greeting in person in the presence of a number of you in the Banco Court precinct, with a glass of champagne at hand. I am sad that on my last opportunity to wish you all the best for the year, we can't be assembled, and I have to do it using my least preferred method of communication, a recorded message. I evidently had some sense of foreboding in relation to this possibility at last year's New Year profession drinks, because I referred to this year's drinks, assuming they do happen. On the other hand, my ability to predict the future was limited, because in 2019, when I was happily talking about the Chinese Year of the Rat, which most of the 2019 applicants for admission would be, I had no premonition, no little chill up my spine to suggest that rats would ever have any other significance. We have got used, in the disrupted up and down life we've been leading over the past 2 years, to this unpredictable pattern of social interaction being the norm, and then suddenly unavailable. And of course, in practice, we've all got used to switching to different ways of doing things as outbreaks come and go. On that note, the Queensland Law Society has had the benefit of great leadership during the COVID period, first from Luke Murphy and then Elizabeth Shearer, well supported by the committee and QLS staff members. That responsibility is now, of course, being taken up by your new president, Thomson, and her committee, and I'm afraid there's no reason to suppose it's going to be much easier for them. The negative side of things is that after 2 years, we're still in the grip of an international pandemic, which has infected almost 500,000 Queenslanders that we know of. The positive side of things is that if you'd known that 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been betting that at this point solicitors would be carrying on business in a way which is relatively close to normal. From my perspective, that's largely thanks to all the lawyers who worked extraordinarily hard engaging with the courts, government and relevant agencies, which enabled us to chart a clear and relatively safe path through what could have been a catastrophe for the profession. Obviously, we'll still be dodging the obstacles for some time to come, but we've done well. As I've mentioned, this is for me the last of these messages, but continuity is, as I've always said, a great feature of the law, and another Chief Justice will be right along. I am sorry that you and they will still be grappling with the on-off effect that COVID brings to practice. Obviously, the pandemic is not ending in a hurry, and it is so very unpredictable. So I won't pitch my hopes for the year any higher than that the profession continues to weather it as well as it has done, thanks to the cohesiveness, determination and adaptability of lawyers. I wish you the best year possible for 2022.
Chief Justice, distinguished guests, members of the legal profession, I again thank you for tuning in. I hope you are as inspired as I am for this year, which, let's face it, can only get better, and I look forward to seeing what we can achieve together as a profession and catching up with you all throughout the year. Thank you and cheers.